Alright, this time I will remember to introduce you at the start. We fixed it in the last video, we just gotta make sure to keep it up. So.
Yeah.
Alright, so today we are back doing more eidolon grading because everybody requested that we do some of the E1s and E2s. However, I'm not doing 2 videos out of that because that's gonna take an eternity. So today we are going to be rating the best early eidolons for characters. So we'll be mainly looking at E2 since those are usually the best, but if a character's E1 is their best, and that's really what enhances them, then we'll be definitely considering that into their placement. Yep. Alright, and then we have our guest back. Introduce yourself again.
Yep, I'm Emmy. Yeah, you've seen me before. If you've watched videos on this channel a couple times, I was here for the last eidolon video and that count review, but yeah.
I was about to say,
Thank you for having me.
I feel like people will probably... Most people, if they're watching this video, they definitely know who you are by now, I hope.
Yeah.
Just because we didn't go over it too much last time, and you and me literally just talked about it, our criteria for the tier list this time around, we are going to be looking at the character and how much better they are with those eidolons. Yeah, and I feel like what we did with the last one, where if an eidolon fixes a problem for a character substantially, then that'll also be a very high-ranking one. No surprise, Aglaea's E1. Probably one of the best E1s because it solves such a massive issue.
Be combining both E1s and E2s into essentially the same thing, because they're essentially both the early eidolons, yeah.
Exactly, because I'm not doing a separate video for both. That's so stupid. Alright, let's begin now. So, first up is Acheron. We're going to look at E2 here. Mute, Thunder, and Still Tempest. The number of Nihility characters required for the Trace the Abyss to achieve its highest possible effect is reduced by 1. When this unit's turn starts, gain 1 point of Slash Stream and inflicts 1 stack of Crimson Knot on the enemy with the most stacks. For E1 is fine. I don't care. The E2 is mainly what people are here
E1
for.
is just crit value, essentially.
Yeah.
It just makes her easier to build.
And then for anybody, real quick, for anybody who doesn't know, the Abyss is when there are 1 or 2 Nihility characters other than Acheron, all of her damage is increased substantially from what it was formerly. I feel like this is a pretty...
I think this one's a classic, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't think there's a lot of argument on this one.
It's either A, I think it's A or S. Might be A for now, it might go up to S. What do you think?
I kind of think this is like the classic S tier. It's not the best in the game anymore by a probably pretty good margin, but it's like, this is what everybody wants for their character. Like, this is what everybody wants for their Acheron, because it opens up so much potential for her and allows her to still retain her high damage value. I'm like, this is going to get knocked down at some point. But for right now, I think it's S.
Value has fallen a little bit.
Oh, absolutely.
Seeing as now she's getting a second competent Nihility. So E0, it's more so that E0 has gotten a lot better rather than E2 getting worse. So
yeah, they've raised her floor finally. They raised her floor instead of just continuously raising her ceiling. Yeah,
and also she has a lot more competition now with like S tier E2s, for example. She's definitely a good, really amazing eidolon. I don't know if it's going to stay in S though.
I think it
might end up moving down.
Right now, I think she's kind of the gatekeeper area where it's like you kind of need to be on this level. And if we get too many past her level, then I think it's fine to drop her. But as of right now, that's a classic E2 that I can, that's just one of the most popular ones, and it does an amazing job for the character, so. Okay, so we just alluded to this one.
Yeah.
So, I'm actually going to talk about E1 first. Drift at the Whim of Venus. The enemy afflicted with Seam Stitch takes 15% increased damage. Pretty good. After Aglaea or Garment Maker attacks this target, additionally regenerates 20 energy.
Yeah.
That fixes her core issue.
That's insane. Also, the 15 increased damage is vulnerability. It is not damage percent. So it's not damage percent, which is like doesn't scale very well, but also her E2 is insane because it's effectively it's just like
oh yeah, her E2 isn't even bad. That's the funny thing. Like, it's not even bad.
Her E2 is amazing. Like I know somebody with E6 Aggie, for example.
Oh, that's sick.
They've told me like that E2 is what allows her to hit those absurd damage numbers. Like I think the E2 would be a bigger damage increase than the E6, honestly.
I mean, a 14% defense ignore that can stack up to 3 times, like, that's objectively so helpful for a character who can attack so much like Aglaea does. Like, that's the funny thing. The E2, really, really solid. So many players, including me, didn't even look at it because E1 fixes the core issue of the character, and that's the crazy part.
Yeah. I think if you're ranking off the E1, it's pretty fucking high.
That E1 is so unbelievably good for her.
And I think the best part, though, is that both eidolons are solid, and one of them's amazing, so I think that is S tier value.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I think it's definitely, it might be above Acheron.
No argument.
Acheron's issue is that only her E2 is good.
Yeah,
and
the E1 is definitely
kind
weaker.
Of just a nothing burger. Yeah.
It's just like, okay, well, it's made it easier to build Acheron. Congrats. Like, okay, that's not really what I'm looking for with an E1, but I guess that's fine. I was gonna say, both your eidolons, both early eidolons being good is, I feel like we gotta reward that a little bit more. Unless the other eidolon is overwhelmingly good. And Acheron's E2 is still really good, but that's why she's kind of gonna get bumped down a little bit, is because there are some characters who have amazing first 2. Next up is Anaxa. So E2, Soul True to History, which I kind of like that name. That's kind of cool. When enemy targets enter the battlefield, trigger 1 instance of Talent Weaknesses Implants effect and reduces their all-type res by 20%. So, I mean, that's good because it accelerates exactly what he wants, because you want the 5 weaknesses to get your guaranteed extra skill. Plus all-type res by 20%. That's a nice little bonus on top of that.
I don't think it's like game changing, to be honest.
No.
I think it's a decent. I think it's like B or A.
I mean, the character's already really good, but the eidolons don't really do much for him. Those first 2 eidolons don't do amazing for him, truth be told.
If this was just like ranking every, like Pride Win does, like how they rank every character like on a tier list on performance alone, then probably S tier. But
he's really good.
He's amazing. But if you aren't talking about that, then his E1 and his E2 don't stand out that much.
Yeah.
They're pretty good. They're not life-changing though.
I was trying to think if there was any room for A, but I don't think there's any way he can get up there with just those 2 being options. I think B is fine.
I think until we get, I think he could go an A, but I think it would depend because it opens up his options both in hyper carry and in sub DPS and support options a lot.
That's fair. That one, I feel like that one's gonna be harder to come back to than Acheron. That one, I feel like that one's gonna be hard to really decide on until we fill out the tier list.
I agree. Since I was dead set on putting Acheron in A, I agree. He's not at the same level. He's not the same tier as Acheron's eidolons, so putting him in B is fine. Yeah.
Again, we'll see how it kind of shapes out later, but all right. So we have to skip Archer for the meantime. So, oh, by the way, we're recording this during 3.3, so if this comes out when 3.4 is out, sue me. Anyway, Argenti. Yeah. So E2. Agate's Humility. If the number of enemies on the field equals to 3 or more when the ultimate is used, attack increases by 40% for 1 turn.
His E1 and E2 together are 40% crit damage and 40% attack. That's like...
Yeah, you want to do this one?
Okay, buddy. C or D? Maybe D.
C is generous!
I'd say C is... C maybe for now, because we still have to go through the standard eidolons. Yeah.
No, if we're not doing 4 stars, I think that's D. That kind of sucks. That's not that good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry, buddy.
Bye-bye, Argenti.
I feel like I'm so mean to Argenti in my videos, and I feel so bad about it, but... He's just not he's just not amazing on his own nowadays.
Yeah, may he rest in peace.
God bless. All right, Aventurine. Pure fiction, or he's working with the Herda. Then we can have a talk about Argenti.
Yeah. Well, yeah. But then his eidolons still do nothing.
Yeah, his eidolons are still worthless, but at least he's a good character then. Alright, so E2, Bounded Rationality. When using basic attack, reduces the target's all-type res by 12% for 3 turns. Also, his E1 is actually... I think his E1's pretty good, just because of the fact that it does increase his sustainability. To be fair, a good Aventurine doesn't really need a huge boost to the sustain, but an extra 20% crit damage and guaranteed you will not need to skill, basically. Pretty nice.
I think it's actually pretty noticeable nowadays, though, seeing as it's a lot just way more safer.
Yeah.
E0 Aventurine, even with E0 S1, can still have some issues sustaining, depending on the fight. I think also the E2 giving so much more use on Acheron teams.
Oh, yeah.
Meaning he gets
I really
way
like
more
the
stacks. I think it's a B or an A. I think it's a B or an A ranking.
That's the
Especially considering it's a support.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's a support one.
Eidolons too.
Honestly, I might want to come back to this one for sure, because right now, I'm either he's above Anaxa or he's bottom of A. That's kind of where I'm at right now. I'm going to leave him above Anaxa for right now. I want to come back to him once we have some people in A. Because I do think, again, you're right, that E2, I really do like what that does. It's a nice little boost, and it really helps out another character that's extremely powerful. Who is up next? Oh, fuck me. So I have this one.
I don't think we need to read this. I don't think we
do, but for the video. Alright, so after using her ultimate, Bailu's outgoing healing increases by an additional 15% for 2 turns. Alright, cool.
Next.
Moving on. Alright, so next up is Black Swan. I remember
the E1's more noticeable than the E2.
Oh, the E1, I forgot. Okay, hold on. Actually, I want to read the E1. So, 7 Pillars of Wisdom. While Black Swan is active in battle, enemies afflicted with Wind Shear, Bleed, Burn, or Shock will have their corresponding Wind, Physical, Fire, or Lightning res respectively reduced by 25%. That's sick. I always like the eidolons that kind of reward you for doing exactly what you should be doing with the character. Like, she's meant to work with other DOT characters, so just by them doing their job, like,
the thing is that if you have her ult on, her ult debuff counts as every single form of DOT. So whenever you have her ult up, she effectively gets all of those automatically.
That also means that you don't even need the extra teammates at that point, but...
It really opens up her because she has, she has her defense shred in her kit, and she also has the vulnerability on her ult. This really opens up her synergies with other teams. Like, she's even usable with units like fucking Feixiao, because Feixiao can ult on the enemy's turn. Feixiao will be able to utilize both the defense shred because of how Feixiao's cone works. Having a lot of defense shred really helps. And also use the wind res pen. And also be able to use the ult damage vulnerability. And it stacks really well.
You never really realize until you actually go in and read how much damage increases Black Swan can actually give a team, just because nobody uses her for that purpose. But it's all built into her kit naturally, which, I mean, also kind of makes no sense as a concept, but I'm not going to complain, because it works really well. I think E1 is better, but I'll still read it. So E2, Weep Not For Me, My Lamb. When an enemy target inflicted with Arcana is defeated, there is a 100% base chance of inflicting 6 stacks of Arcana on adjacent targets. I mean, more damage is more damage.
Probably see more use in the future. Like, it seems like it would have a use at some point, but it's good in pure fiction. I think you can rank it off the E1, but...
The E1's the main hitter here, but...
Yeah.
It's not such a gargant... Like, I'm looking at Aventurine there in B, and I don't think it's on quite the same level as his combined.
I think it's the same level as them, because it gives her an actual use. Otherwise, I don't think she has any place in the meta whatsoever.
Oh, no. You know what? That's fair, actually. Just the bare minimum. Hey, you know what? Alright, at least you're not useless anymore. I love that D is just absolutely pointless. Whatever's in C is just probably going to be pointless, but nice.
Yeah.
Makes for a nice aesthetic.
It sprinkles.
Oh my god. Describe... I can't wait to describe an eidolon as sprinkles. Something that people probably pay like $200 for. Yeah, it's basically just a cupcake. Like, it's getting an extra sprinkle on your cupcake. That's so sad. All right.
Yeah.
So Blade. I really hope they don't change these by. If they change these by the time he's buffed, I'm not gonna be happy. Okay, I'm not looking at E2. E2 sucks. All right. So E1, Blade cuts the deepest in hell.
Bad.
Jesus. Oh, deals additionally increased damage to a single enemy target with the increased amount equal to 150% of Blade's total HP loss in the current battle. The total HP Blade is lost in the current battle is capped at 90% of his max HP, and then it'll be reset and reaccumulated after ultimate has been used.
It's effectively a 90% increase. No, wait. 90% times 1.5, I can't think. It's 135% max HP increase on his ultimate in single target, which is only applicable in single target, but it really helps in a single target. So it's decent. I'd say it's C, or I think it's C.
Okay, thank God. I thought you were gonna say B, and I'm like, okay, I might have to argue that one, because also especially if we're taking into consideration all early eidolons, so E1 and E2, his E2 is on the same level as Acheron's, with the other eidolon being of a much worse value while already being a worse character. It's just rough for Blade, man. Next up is Boothill.
And clearly crit rate was the one thing he needed.
Yeah, clearly.
Okay.
Actually, this is
both are pretty good.
These are, I think
pretty good.
I actually have to read both of these. So, E1, Dusty Trail's Lone Star. When the battle starts, obtain 1 stack of Pocket Trick Shot. That's already pretty good. Yeah. When Boothill deals damage, ignores 16% of the enemy target's defense. Pretty good. So then E2, Milestone Monger. When in standoff and gaining Pocket Trick Shot, recover 1 skill point and increase break effect by 30% for 2 turns. He can also trigger this effect when gaining Pocket Trick Shot stacks that exceed the max limit.
It really helps with this skill point economy and lets him run less skill point positive teammates. And for E1 helps him a lot with building up his Pocket Trick Shot, because effectively with Fugue you instantly get 3 stacks. It's just really helpful. It's not life-changing, but
I quite like what it does though. It's a nice boost.
Yeah.
And it's like it can actually make a fairly substantial difference.
Yeah.
Because it's like you said with the Fugue one, you can get all your stacks basically instantly, plus you're getting massive damage increases off, well not massive, but like a good damage increase off of it. I feel like this could be A.
Yeah, because there's 2 pretty good eidolons that really help him as a DPS.
Okay, perfect.
And they not only give him damage increases, but they also fix his issues, like the SP and stuff.
Next up is Bronya.
So that's interesting. I fucking hate that E2. I mean, the E1.
I hate her E1. Okay, good. I hate this E1 so much. All right. E2.
Yeah, you're like, proc, please proc, please proc, please proc.
Please work, please work, please work. I mean, that's the thing, is that if you're going to be starting a battle and you have Bronya actually advancing at the start, at least you can reset immediately if you don't get the skill point back. So, E2, Quick March. When using skill, the target ally speed increases by 30% after taking action, lasting for 1 turn.
That one's really good. Like,
that's really good.
It's really good, but
E1
I think it's A.
pisses me off.
I think the E2 alone would be A. I mean, the E1 is really helpful, though. Even if it really pisses me off.
It's like, it's a good thing. It's really important. Because you have a chance. It's really important. You have a chance now to get the skill point back. So E1 is automatically better than not having it. It just aggravates me. E2, that's objectively really a good boost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say A, B, or A. I think it'll depend on how the other support eidolons shake out. Yeah.
Honestly, good point. That's another one we're gonna leave an A. So we'll keep it like this for now. Next up is yep, alright. Yeah, that E2 is pretty good.
Guess I'll put it in S tier. Oh.
It's like, yeah, I don't need to read the E1. E2, Crown on Wings of Bloom. After summoning Memo Sprite Netherwing, Castorice gains 2 stacks of Ardent Will. A maximum of 2 stacks of Ardent Will can be possessed at any given time, and can be used to offset Netherwing's HP consumption. It also advances Castorice's action by 100, and in the next use of enhanced skill, Castorice gains 30% of her maximum new bud points. Yeah, do we really need to talk about this?
It's broken as fuck.
Yeah, okay, cool.
It's 2 really good eidolons. I think it's above Aggies, yeah.
Yep. Okay, cool. Glad we agree. It's like, I love Aglaea's. I really love Aglaea's.
E1 isn't even bad. Her E1's like a really noticeable damage increase too.
That's the thing. The E2 is incredible, and the E1 is still good. So there's
only one unit that'll be above her that's not like a support.
Yeah, that one's... that was a rough battle.
Yeah.
There was no way.
There's only one DPS that's going to be able to outcompete her here.
I actually don't know which one you're talking about off the top of my head, so...
We'll get to it eventually.
I was about to say, we're going to get to it, so I'm excited to see when it just clicks. Oh yeah, Cipher. We actually have her eidolons.
Yeah, her kit is out. Yeah.
So, E1 for Cipher, or E2... Ooh, okay, never mind, E2. So, in the fray, Nab on a spree...
Both are good. Both are very good.
I do think the E1 might actually be her better value one, but E2 is a very, very nice boost.
Okay, so the E2 is essentially extra, it almost doubles how much vulnerability she gives. It gives her an whole extra 30% vulnerability.
That's what I said in my video that I released today, is if you really want to make, like, if you really care about making DPS Cipher, like, primary DPS Cipher, these first two eidolons are really all you need. And it's like, if you can get the E2, that's nice, but E1's pretty good. I still think if you're trying to go for
primary DPS Cipher, don't stop trying.
Okay, yeah, so that's the correct answer, but I needed to give the people hope. I needed to give the people hope. Like, if you get these two, there's a world at least. It would be nice if you could just jump to this, but there's a world here.
Yeah, that's also very true, yeah.
Oh my god. Alright, so yeah, so E2, you basically just get another 30% more damage, so you get 70% damage vulnerability. And then if you stack that with the light cone, and the debuffs you get from that, you end up at probably over 80 pretty easily.
The real answer, I'd say, is pulling Robin. I think Robin's the best thing you can do for DPS Cipher.
That's fucked up, but you're right. It's fucked up, but you're right. So E1, Cipher's recorded damage is 150% of the original recorded damage value. That's on her ult. That's great. When using a follow-up attack caused by her talent, you get 80% more attack. I think this is probably another A, right?
She's a support, so I think, and as a support eidolon, I think they're pretty good, so I think A is fine.
Oh, did I skip one? Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, here we go again. Even worse than Imbibitor Lunae. All right.
Like, I don't think she's usable without E1, and
she is
E2
not.
is a decent... Her E2 is like an okay damage increase, but that's it.
Yeah. So, E1, a tall figure using skill will now remove marks of counter on the enemy. You need this. You literally need this. And it's like... Yeah.
Her damage falls off a cliff without it.
Well, yeah, because the goddamn mark of counter increases the damage by so much, so then if you don't have it...
It literally doubles
This is a version 1.0 character. They suck. They're horrible on paper. Again, this is one of those things
where...
in
their base kit. I don't know why the fuck it isn't in their base kit.
This is one of those things where it literally improves the core aspect of the character. The problem is that the character, like, even with these boosts, the character still isn't incredible.
I just think it should be either C or B tier, because at least it makes her usable. And I think those are like, yeah. I don't think it's D.
Fine. Oh no, it's not D. No. I don't want to.
I think it's D
it's not D.
B, honestly. B might be a bit too high, because she's still not viable with them. She's just usable.
That's a good point. That is a very... To be fair, we have Black Swan in there, so you know what? I'm fine with
Black Swan is... Okay, yeah, that's fair.
Like, Black Swan is, quote-unquote, like, a little better off. In most cases, you should not be using Black Swan in today's game either way. So... Yeah, that's fair. And I feel like...
Wait, the Kafka buffs. Let's go. surely.
I am so excited for those. I can't wait to maybe use Kafka again. Problem is, I'm probably going to have to rebuild her, because my builds were not good early on.
Okay, now we have the classic
Now
E2
we have
Dill.
Dragon Boy.
E2 Dill.
Yeah, E1.
This is the first insane E2. This is the original E2.
Yep. So, after using his ultimate, Heng Imbibitor Lunae's action is advanced forward by 100% and gains 1 extra Squama Sacrosancta?
That's the free skill point.
No.
Point that he gets on his ult.
That's the thing. I know what that is. I've never had to pronounce it before. It's like it almost looks like Spanish. The problem is it's not. But anyway, so you get 2 usually after your ultimate, and now you get all 3. So that's broken.
Yeah, it's the baseline for him to be usable nowadays, but it is also a huge increase. Like he's like pretty good with it now.
Yeah, like, that is actually
he's comparable
fantastic.
To like, yeah, it's amazing for him.
Oh, also just because the E1 does technically exist, you get another stack of Righteous Heart, which is his talent. 1 stack increases your damage by 10%.
Either top of A or bottom of S. I think if we have Acheron in S tier, I think
I think this is S tier.
Yeah.
I was about to say, if Acheron is an S, he gets to be an S.
Yeah. Considering the difference between his base and like what this does for him, yeah. The only thing I am worried about is if when we get to the certain support eidolons, if there will need to be a tier above S.
We're just gonna name it support. Like, I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
It's just gonna be the support tier.
That's very, very fair, yeah.
I'm actually not gonna... Like, I'm gonna put it above Acheron, but not in an actual ranking. It's just like, Aglaea and Castorice are so far ahead of these two, it's not close. And these two are in the same camp.
That's fair.
So, viewers watching, don't get mad at me. These two are in the same spot. So, next up,
now
Dr.
we get to
Ratio.
the Doctor. Doctor, are your eidolons huge?
What a statement.
I don't know if Aventurine would agree.
What a statement.
Well, I'm just quoting Aventurine. I'm not sure Aventurine would agree that these eidolons are huge, though. Yeah.
Alright.
Okay, the E2 is not bad.
E2's...
E1 is like...
Yeah, okay, so that's what I was looking at, is I'm like, I'm not impressed.
It's not terrible.
It's again,
it's not terrible,
but it's the same thing as like Acheron's, where it's just like, oh hey, more crit to make your building easy, and I'm like, I don't want that on an eidolon. I want something juicy.
So much crit value.
Like you get so much out of it normally.
Yeah, like oh my gosh, ratio. Come on,
all right. So let me actually read this. So E2, the divine is in the details. When his talent's follow-up attack hits a target, for every debuff the target has, additionally deals imaginary additional damage equal to 20% of Dr. Ratio's attack. This effect can be triggered for a maximum of 4 times during each follow-up attack.
It's essentially 80% attack multiplier increase on his follow-up attacks.
Again, it's a nice boost.
Can you show his base follow-up attack multiplier?
Oh, sorry, hold on. Let me go back.
So that's 270% on the base multiplier. So that's a pretty decent increase, but like...
So if you're getting plus 80, that's 350, I think? Yeah.
Yeah, it's 350. But, it's not like...
It's fine.
It's not like doubling how much damage he does. Like, I think it's I want to say...
Yeah, that's the thing.
I don't think it's at the same level as the A tiers, because it doesn't like skyrocket him in viability.
It's not. It's definitely not. Because it's like that's the thing is that it doesn't open up more possibilities for him, and it doesn't really like it's a nice boost, but it's not even an amazing boost. Nah, C's too mean. Okay, I'll give it B.
I think he definitely deserves B.
Yeah. I was just being harsh. All right.
I do think it's below Anaxa though.
Okay, good. Okay,
definitely
agree on that.
I don't even know if it's above Black Swans, to be honest.
I
think it is below Black Swans, to be honest. Like, as a DPS increase, I don't think it's more than Black Swans.
I'm gonna be
Black Swans is still 25%. Black Swans has use as both a DPS and a support, which I know DOT sucks, but it's still like a better increase
actually
than Ratios is.
Just for the fact that the other eidolon is a bit better than the summation shit.
Yeah.
I kind of forgot about how, her eidolons, at least combined, are definitely better. So
now we get to rank a real follow-up attack DPS.
Oh, you're not wrong, but Alright, so E2 is Moonward I Wish. In the talent's effect, for every 1 instance of follow-up attack launched by ally targets, Feixiao gains 1 point of Flying Aureus. This effect can trigger up to 6 times per turn. Also, the E1 is still pretty good. So, after launching Bolt Sunder Blitz or War Axe Skyward, Additionally, increases the ultimate damage dealt by Feixiao by an amount equal to 10% of the original damage, stacking up to 5 times, and lasting until the end of the ultimate action. Either way, it's a nice boost that goes on throughout the ultimate, so you're always going to get it, like, you're always going to get it by the end of the ultimate, which is, either way, that's a nice damage boost right at the end there.
Yeah, it's a pretty noticeable damage boost on her ult. Yeah, and then on top of the E2, it's amazing.
I was about to say, because then E2.
That E2 is insane. That E2 is like Acheron and like Castorice level E2 with a pretty good E1. So I think she's at or above like the Aggie and the cast level.
I was about to say, Castorice is still probably the top of the list. It's just a matter of if it's better than Aglaea.
I think I think though the differences between E0 Fae and E2 Fae is like vastly more different. Actually, I think she's probably the same level as Cass from what I can tell. It's like really hard to compare. She's definitely better than Aggie's though.
About to say, it's so hard to tell because it's like we're comparing multi-target to single target as well, so it's like you can't even use them in the same scenarios. I think Feixiao's other eidolon, like both of her eidolons are so good. And Aglaea's are also very good, but I just think the combined aspect makes
the biggest thing to like one of the
bits.
crazy shit you can do with that eidolon is like insane though.
Oh no, it's drugs.
Like I've seen 0 cycles on Pollux with that eidolon, like E2 Fae can 0 cycle Pollux.
Again, it's just so funny that it's just like I feel like the two characters above everyone else who can just brute force their way through shit is Feixiao and Boothill. Because I see Boothill in places that Boothill should not be in. I remember, which boss was it that Boothill kept nuking it so that... Oh, it was the Flame Reaver, right. In testing, players kept using Boothill to just nuke the Flame Reaver in beta, and the developers got so frustrated with it that they changed the mechanics of the boss fights.
Yeah.
Shout out Boothill. Firefly. I will say, I actually quite like the E1. Because I have E1, I quite like E1.
Yeah.
It's very nice.
This is the most original E2 ever. She didn't copy E2 deal whatsoever.
So anyway. Alright. So E2, from Shattered Sky, I freefall. Sick name. Essentially, it just means whenever you weakness break an enemy, you immediately get an extra turn.
Yeah, it can also trigger on kills as well, but there's a 1-turn downtime, essentially. I think the E1 is what allows the E2 to be so good.
Yep, because E1 means you don't lose skill points.
They figured out this thing, I believe it was probably on Firefly's banner, essentially, that they should use the E1 to make the E2 really good. It works really well.
And it does it perfectly.
I don't think E2 is very good without the E1, but with the E1, it's very good together.
With these two combined, it makes for, like, literally a perfect package.
Yeah, she goes from being, like, the worst break DPS to being comparable to top-tier DPS in a lot of scenarios. I think she's below Feixiao. Or maybe below Aggie. I don't know if she's above or below Aggie.
She's in the same realm as... Like, she has the same kind of thing as Imbibitor Lunae. The thing is, though, is that the E1 also pairs...
The E1's a lot better
super
than
well
Lunae,
with the... Alright, actually, you know what? Hold on. We're gonna go back to Aglaea real quick. Hold on.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one... Okay, getting a specific vote on that one is hard. I'm about to just make an S- tier. I'm about to make S- and put these two in it, I swear to God.
Yeah.
We're gonna... Okay, she's gonna go there for now. It's fine. These two are in the same realm, and then Feixiao and Castorice are above these two. God, we have 3 different tiers within S, and there's 6 characters in it. Oh my God.
Yeah, I think that's what I was a little hesitant to put Acheron in S, because I don't think she's at the same level as, like, Feixiao or them, just because she doesn't have 2 good eidolons, and they have 2 good E1s and E2s, yeah.
Oh. Now, again, just... Oh, this was the hard part about doing both eidolons combined, but it's still better than doing an entire video for E1. Alright, moving on. Xuan. E1. Wow.
It's pretty decent.
I forgot this is what the E2 was.
Bailu.
It's a revive. Oh.
Yeah, we have Cass at home.
I forgot that's what the E2
It's not nothing, it's C, I think.
It's C. I'll say, because it's not outgoing healing by 15%. It's not that.
The only reason why I think I can say it's C is because she's a 50-50 lost pull unit now, and it's probably one of the better, other than like Bronya's eidolons, it's probably one of the best units to lose your 50-50 to.
Yep, literally.
The eidolon value.
Oh, that's... Yeah. I mean... Hey, man.
Really
she increases your crit rate. She increases your crit rate, and if you get E1, she'll increase your crit damage, and then E2, you get global passive. Wow. Awesome. Alright, moving on.
I think she's above Blade, honestly, though. I think that's it. I would put her above Blade.
I'm gonna be honest, I was just gonna dip. I didn't want to look at this anymore. Yeah, that's fine.
That's fair. Yeah.
I don't have a strong opinion on this one. I'm just so disappointed.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
Alright, Gepard. Oh, I can't wait to be disappointed again. Alright.
I don't think we need to read these.
So,
I'm just gonna be honest.
Base chance to freeze enemies, 35%. After an enemy frozen by Gepard's skill is unfrozen, their speed is reduced by 20%.
Considering it's literally only used as to run trend of Universal Market on Acheron teams, the fact that these prevent the enemies from moving, and literally his only use is to act as a punching bag for the enemies. I think it's literally a negative eidolon.
Literally.
Like, tier. Oh my gosh.
What is the point of delaying an enemy if you have a sustain? There's actually no point to it. Oh my god. You know what? I like it more than outgoing healing boost. Can we? Maybe we should just stop reading standard banner.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Did we miss Fugue, by the way? Or oh no, Fugue is lower. Wait,
where's Fugue? Oh, because it's Fugue / Tingyun.
Oh. Okay.
You know what? No, actually, we're gonna take a quick detour to Fugue because I don't want to have to read three standard banner in a row.
That's fair.
I can't do this anymore, man. We're not even that far into the video. Okay.
I think this is where we need to create that support tier above S. We'll call it S support or whatever. I don't know.
Oh my god,
because these are game-breaking value.
I was about to say I quite like both of these. These are both really good.
They're amazing. Like,
so all right,
completely life-changing for a big team.
I'm gonna have to read both of these. So E1, Earthbound I was, Cloudward I be. Ally target with Foxy and Prayer increases their weakness break efficiency by 50%.
We have E6 Firefly at home, chat.
Fucking bullshit. Alright, and E2... I can't even read anymore. Actually, it's crazy how much better this is. That's fucked up. Oh, sorry. Alright. When an enemy target's weakness gets broken, Fugue regenerates 3 energy. After using ultimate, advances the action of all allies by 24%.
It's amazing.
Do you guys like Dance?
Yeah, you run her on like tutorial, the tutorial mission,
yep.
Like one or whatever, and she gets so many fucking ults. Like, it's insane. Especially because since she implants that extra weakness bar with her exo toughness.
Yep.
You get even more breaks anyway, so it's like boom, 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 and you're running with an HMC, so it's double DDD at that point.
50% break efficiency and action advance.
Yeah, like, oh my god.
And action advance. That's so broken. Jesus.
Yeah. I don't think all the supports are going to go up there, but I think there are a couple that will.
I was about to say, this one was an easy one, to be fair. Back to disappointment. Himeko! So, E1, after Victory Rush is triggered, Himeko's speed increases by 20% for 2 turns.
It's okay.
E2 deals 15% more damage to enemies whose HP percent is 50% or less.
She really thinks she's small herd up.
So anyway, should I throw her in the graveyard?
The E1's not nothing. Yeah, put her in.
That could be top of the graveyard then.